Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to our fresh and new Freedom Lifestyle event. My name is Jo and I am now living in Perth in WA, and we have been living here for 2 months now. So I am a mum of two. I've got a 9 and a 6-year-old, and I'm a registered nurse by trade. I'm going to share a little bit more about my nursing story a little bit later, but I just wanted to firstly introduce myself. I have been part of the Juice Plus company now for almost 3 years, and I'm really excited to be able to share what we've got going on tonight. It's certainly a different way of doing things, and certainly not the way that we are used to, I suppose, when it comes to, I know what I learned from my parents was to go out and go to university and get a job. And then, which I did, and then work, and work family and life and kids and everything all around that job. So what we're here to share tonight is really just how a bunch of us are doing things a little bit differently. And that's just the beautiful mission that we have happening. And also to share a little bit about some really cool health stories that we've seen some amazing results along the way with our beautiful products. So, I'm really excited to be able to share some of the stories tonight. I'm going to get out of the way and pass over to Leah. Leah is going to share our amazing products with us and share a bit about her story. Thanks, Leah.
Thanks, Jo. My name's Leah, and the Juice Plus product came into my life when my first baby was about 4 or 5 months old. And I was experiencing exhaustion like I'd never experienced before, like lots of mums. My body had been under some big demands, growing a little human, giving everything that, I had, nourishing, growing a baby, going through birth, and then backing up with breastfeeding. And I was just really tired and not feeling amazing, and I was really looking for something to boost my health. I'd heard of Juice Plus before and I hadn't really looked too far into it. I love the idea that you get everything that your body needs from the food that you eat. But like lots of us, that wasn't happening for me. And, cost, convenience and quality had a lot to do with that. I just didn't have the time to prepare, a lot of food. I couldn't eat any more food, but I definitely wasn't getting everything that my body needed. So when I came across the products, they just definitely got my attention. They had so much research behind them that was so impressive to me. And the fact that your body recognizes it as food certainly was something that just stood out to me. I'd looked into multivitamins and they just never really made sense. Often I think, my body, I was just not absorbing it. I was peeing it out. It was something synthetic, and it just wasn't something that, I was getting much benefit from. So when I very first came across them, these are the products that I started with, which was the fruits, veggies and berries. And it's just a really beautiful blend of exactly that, fruits, veggies and berries. The way Juice Plus produce is actually grown is in 3rd generation, really clean, quality controlled farms, and vine ripened produce, which is really different to what we get in our grocery stores today, which we know that it's often picked well before it's ripe to preserve the shelf life, but the nutritional goodness, in the produce is definitely in those last 2 weeks of ripening. So the quality is just second to none. And then basically it's just picked, it's taken and made into like a big smoothie and then dried at a really, really, really low heat to preserve all the phytonutrients, everything that our body needs. And basically the sugar and water is removed from it. So you're just getting all the goodness that those whole foods have, for your body. When I very first started taking it, it took about 10 days and I noticed a massive shift in energy. And I think that's one thing that most people, recognize within, the first kind of couple of weeks. It's very different for everybody. But I certainly hear that a lot from my clients that, they get a bit of that, you know, a real boost in sustained energy, being able to get through the day. Also starting to really crave fruits and veggies, because once you're flooding your body with that at the cellular level, that's what your body really wants more of as well. You know, and I just love that our product is the product with a heart, the company with a heart. And for everybody who takes Juice Plus, you can actually sponsor a child to take the fruit and veggies for free, and they also come in a nice chewable form as well. You know, that's any child, and we have them worldwide, over 1 million, and they participate in a health study, and you know, we're seeing some amazing results from that. And I just love that with kids, there's no such thing as a placebo. You know, what you see is what you get. So when you see the kids that are being sponsored and they're eating their Juice Plus for free, and they're having less days off school, less doctor's visits, drinking more water, they're pooping better, and just general well-being is better. I think that's absolutely incredible, and the proof is really in the pudding. The other product that I'm absolutely crazy about is our omegas. So this is actually something that I was really looking for to really, and I think it just kind of completes what we have and really rounds it out. It's a vegan omega, and it's a really nice, beautiful blend of plants and seeds to give our body the, you know, essential fatty acids that it needs to really function at its best. Those essential fatty acids our bodies are not actually able to make, so we have to get them from the foods we're eating, or something like a really nice omega source like this one. I've tried to take fish oil, and I know that, you know, all doctors recommend it, and we know that it's something that's really good for us, but I can't do the taste like lots of other people. It's something that seems to really continue all day long, so they are often something that I bought and then they sat in my cupboard and I never actually took them. But this is something that I'm absolutely in love with, and it's got a really pleasant orange flavour, and I've seen really tangible benefits as well that I did not expect to my skin, hair, nails. People have, you know, noticed that as well, and I can really only put it down to the fact that, you know, that's the only real difference. It's getting those good fats in, and, you know, you really get that omega glow. The other product that we do have are our complete powders, and I don't have any because they never last very long in our house. We use them every single day. We're a massive fan. They come in vanilla and chocolate, and they're just a beautiful blend of superfoods that taste absolutely amazing. We use these to kind of boost our smoothies in the morning, and you know, really add a whole heap of goodness that otherwise I'm not going to get into my day. And it's a great way to get good stuff into your kids, because they think they're having something amazing, like, you know, a chocolate milkshake, and they're getting a whole heap of other, you know, sprouted goods, you know, spirulina, mushroom powder, pomegranate, pumpkin powder, the list goes on, and you're getting them in, and it's, you know, that's kind of before breakfast or before morning tea. So I absolutely love it. It's kind of like my insurance, that even if the rest of the day is not good, we've had one absolutely amazing meal. And I don't know about anyone else, but I find that if I have that in the morning, it kind of sets up my day for the rest. You know, I'm kind of starting the day on a good foot, and then I make good food choices for the rest of the day. So it, you know, I think it's really getting that macronutrition in, and then combined with our micronutrition in our capsules, it's just, yeah, feeding our body with absolute goodness. So I'm going to pass it on over to, I think, Fuchsia, who's sharing tonight. Do you want to take yourself off mute, Fuchsia?
Yes. Hi, everyone. So I started on the products actually nearly 2 years ago. At the time, I was just a really, really exhausted mum. I had one little boy and I was at home with him. And so I was just really looking for something. So I thought I'd give it a go. What I was really experiencing was total and utter fatigue, which I'm sure, you know, is not unknown for a lot of us mums, but I was really in a really low place, and just the day-to-day grind, I was just so tired. I was struggling to get out of the house. I was struggling to make things work. I wasn't being a fun mum for my little boy, and everything was just the day-to-day. We struggled to get out of the house, struggled to organise activities because I couldn't think past the immediate day. everyone always said one day at a time and one thing per day, but I could never remember what it was that I was needing to do or focus on in any one day. I was swimming in such a fog. That, of course, led to medication, and that was all great. But as much as doctors say it's okay with the breastfeeding baby, it just didn't sit right with me. So I was really desperate to get off, and also knowing I wanted to have another baby, wanted to really get off my medication. So on top of that, I was also suffering from this really itchy skin. I didn't have eczema or psoriasis or anything. My skin looked fine, but I would go through these just like incredibly itchy bouts of skin every evening at night. It would just grate on me. So it was getting me into these real fits of frustration. So I started on the products. Within 3 days, I was definitely starting to feel more energy, which was incredible in itself, because I could get up in the morning and I was like ready for the day. I found I could start to walk and I could exercise, and that just incrementally led to so many more things. I could start to do the things that I knew I needed to do, eat better, because I had more energy to like get my head around the food and feeding my family and all of that. So for me, it was just huge. I came off my medication like in a relatively short time after that, and that was just, well, you can imagine that was just awesome. And I really started to feel myself back. And that also led me to feel confident to go into another pregnancy, which was really good. So all these great physical symptoms, but I think the one thing I never expected that was the really big win was just how emotionally available I became, because I just was able to be so much more present with my little boy, and it just really changed everything about being at home. So I'm really, really grateful for the products and still take them every day and miss them if I don't. That's me. Thanks.
Thanks, Fuchsia. That is amazing. I haven't heard all your story before, and it's not, it's unique, but not because there's so many of us mums that just had that total exhaustion. But also, I understand where you're coming from when it comes to the depression side of things and medication and wanting to just not put those chemicals into our bodies. So I completely hear you there. We have another story tonight, which is different again. We all have such beautiful, unique stories to share, and that's from Karlina. Karlina, if you're there, want to take yourself off mute, hon, we'd love to hear from you.
Oh, hi guys. Sorry, I was just trying to find a quiet spot in my house. Hi. So the business came into my life about 2 years ago now, and at the time we had a lot of stress in our lives. We owned a traditional business in mining here in WA, and with the downturn in mining, our business pretty much went under, and we had built up this ridiculously expensive life for ourselves, and we just had no way of paying for that. And any money that we were making was going to pay employees whilst we were struggling to pay the grocery bill each week. So my partner ended up having to move over east and work over there, and left me here with the 4 kids. And I was looking at having to get a 9-to-5 job. And that terrified me, because my most important role was being a mum, and I wanted to be there for all the drop-offs and all the pickups, swimming lessons, sick days, everything. And I had no idea how I was going to fit that into my life. So when I came across this opportunity online, I thought, well, what if this could be the thing that allows me to stay at home and be there for my kids? And 2 years on, I'm still at home with my kids, and I'm so grateful for that every day. I don't have to miss out on any of those special moments. And now I am so excited for the future, because I'm working towards bringing my partner home and bridging that gap so that we can be a family again. Thanks, Jo.
Thank you, Karlina. That's fantastic. So that's it's a really great way for us to move into the mission behind the product. So I know we've heard some great stories about the products and how amazing they are. And we also have an incredible program that complements the products beautifully. It's called the Juicy Body Transformation Program. And what that is an online Facebook group. We have literally thousands of people in it now that come together as a community, and we can really support each other in our health journey. So whether that's just health or whether it's wellness or whether it's a combination of both, we have recipes, over 200 recipes now. There's some fantastic guides in there when it comes to really just ditching dieting for good, and learning to not count calories, and really just get back to basics and eat whole foods and enjoy food again, without having to worry about dieting and all that kind of thing. So we've got some beautiful Christmas recipes in there, which is great for the upcoming season. I know that it was something that I was always worried about, was going to barbecues and not having the right foods or things like that. I know that I can take along a beautiful, colourful salad that's so full of vibrancy, but is also full of health as well. So, and it's a great way to share with our friends. We then can, like I said, segue into the mission behind our amazing products. And like I said, I've been doing this now for 3 years, and just my experience is really that it's different to doing things regularly. I know Karlina mentioned a traditional business, and Leah, I know her family is the same with traditional business and having to juggle time for money and that kind of thing, knowing that if you don't go to work, then you don't get paid. What we have here is just a really great model that yes, is different to the norm, but it's a really great structure. And I liken it to the way that that I suppose the nursing structure looks, and in a hospital scenario, you've got your nurses, your ward nurses, which is where I was at. I was working in theatre, but also working on the ward and things like that. And I'd go in and do my shift work. And if I wanted to move up the chain of things, then that might have put me to a shift supervisor or even to clinical nurse educator, and then that might have pushed me up, which gave me also more responsibility, more hours. I was then in charge of other staff, which you can imagine in the nursing scenario is other lives. So it was a pretty high stress job. And then moving up the ladder, there was plenty of other positions, but it was also positions that I needed to, really compete with my fellow pretty much girls, compete with the other girls on, and there wasn't enough positions for everybody. So I saw pretty quickly when I became a mum, from a perspective there, that, like Karlina said, I wanted to be home with my kids. I wanted to be there to kiss them goodnight every night, and working shift work as a nurse just didn't tick those boxes for me. I was missing out on special events. I was missing out on small events like all sports days or assemblies and all that kind of thing. So I'm really proud to say I was able to retire myself from nursing 12 months ago, just over 12 months ago now, and been able to work from home, and really blessed to have been able to. We've moved a couple of times in that time, and I've been there to settle the kids into their new schools and really make sure that I can focus on what they need, and then work my business and my mission in around the flexibility that really allows for us. So we're going to flick over to Charlie now, and Charlie's going to share a little bit about her business story and just how she came into it.
Thanks, Jo. So my name's Charlie, and I have been in the past business for about 2 years now. The business came into my life at a time when I had returned back to work after having my first son, and he was probably about 8 months old, and I'd gone back to work, and I was excited about having another role back outside of the home. But it wasn't very long being back at work, and I realised it actually really wasn't where I wanted to be longer term. I realised it was not something I had much passion for anymore. It was just a corporate role, and it'd be pretty hard to get passionate about it, to be honest. And that was fine before I had kids, but now obviously I was away from them, and I wanted to, if I was going to be away from them, doing something that was a bit more meaningful to me and was worthy of my time. And I didn't want to be, as Jo said, competing with people for promotions that ultimately I didn't really even think that I wanted. I knew I didn't want to be top of the company because that was going to be way too much stress and way too much time away from the home. So I was looking around for a different way. Basically, I didn't really know where to start. I knew I still needed to stay in my day job to bring in the income. So I'd actually known Leah for quite a long time, but hadn't caught up with her a while, but had been following her on social media and saw she was up to something that looked really exciting, to be honest, and pretty fun, and looked like maybe it could be something for me. And so I just reached out to her, and when she explained it to me and I watched an event similar to this, it made complete sense to me. I jumped on the product straight away and I loved them, knew I'd be sharing them anyway, so just thought, why not give it a go? I've got nothing to lose, and everything to gain, to be honest. And I loved, like I said, I had to keep working in my day job, as I call it, so I had to be able to fit it, is there anything else around that and around my family, because that's obviously my priority. And 2 years on, that's exactly what I've been able to do. It hasn't impacted upon anything else. I fit it in around everything else, and that's what I love. It's something that I can build up, and will eventually be able to replace my other income from my corporate role. And what I love most is that I know I'm not going to be stuck in that role forever now. So it's kind of, I like to call it my exit strategy, and I'm not kind of worrying about, oh my goodness, I'm going to be stuck here for the next 30 years. I've got something else that that I can work on and that's more I'm passionate about, and I get to work with a great bunch of girls. So yeah, definitely for me it's been fantastic. And if anything, I just wish I'd said yes earlier or reached out to Leah earlier and could have been started earlier, but yeah, glad I did.
Fantastic, Charlie. Thank you so much. I love that, you've got that exit strategy so that you can have that time with your little boys. It's just so precious and it goes so fast. So I know that when I first looked at this, I was super skeptical about having to hunt down my friends. And what I found was that I didn't actually need to do that. What it meant I could do was it gave me a really great opportunity to reconnect with a lot of people, which I wouldn't normally have done. And, sales is different now to what it was when perhaps our parents were younger, and we've got the power of social media that we can share, and we don't need to certainly call ourselves salespeople. That's not what we're about. It's really about recommending a product that we love, recommending the program that we love, and sharing that with our friends from a really heartfelt space that we to be able to help others. And I know as a nurse that lit me up, and to be able to do this in a different space and come from a preventative type angle rather than just fixing people and sending them on their way. It's so much more fulfilling for me. So that's something that I was really worried about, was just hunting down friends. But the other thing, and probably my biggest concern, was just time. I was worried that I wasn't going to have enough time, and that this was going to encroach on my life, what I thought was important things like watching Home and Away and watching TV every night. And what I found was that it was really easy to think, my husband is oh so thankful for this, that I gave up Home and Away, and that allowed me an extra 30 minutes a day to be able to work my business in around my family. I can now do it during the day when the kids are at school, but I know that those people with younger kids like Charlie and Leah, that they can work it in around their children at home in stolen moments of time. So what this really gives us is opportunity to create more time with our family, and more time that, like I said before, we can really be around for those special moments. So, that was something that, like I said, I was really concerned about, and now it's totally dispelled those myths. We're going to pass over now to Keryn. Keryn is one of our beautiful Perth girls that has recently had a new promotion. Congratulations, Keryn. If you want to unmute yourself, and I'll pin you, and I'd love to hear your business story.
Hi everyone. Thanks for having me on here tonight. Look, for me, I very similar to Charlie, came from the corporate world before I had kids, and thought that I would have a year off and do the mum thing for a year and then go back to my job, because it was a good paying job at the time. But what I very quickly realised after having one child is that wasn't really what I wanted to do anymore. I just didn't have that same passion to go back to the corporate world. I wanted to be there for my kids. I didn't want to put them into daycare. That was just a personal choice of mine, waiting until I was a bit older to have kids. I wanted to be able to stay at home and be a mum to them. And then I ended up having two quite close in age. I've only got 18 months between my kids. And after having my second one, it just wasn't, to me, not viable to put two kids in full-time daycare to go back to that kind of type of corporate job. So I actually had a couple of years off, and in that time I realised I didn't want to, have someone telling me when I could go on holidays, when I could spend time with my kids, and when I could, ultimately, have. I guess I really just wanted to have choice around, how my week panned out and how my day panned out. So I ended up having a couple of years off with my kids, but it got to the point where having kids is amazing, and obviously my family is my number one value, but I really wanted to, A, be able to contribute to the household again, and B, to really have another passion outside of being a mum. So I actually should go back a step. I was actually a customer on the products for a couple of years prior to even looking at the business. I loved the products, and I found I was naturally sharing and recommending them to everyone anyway. And so the business opportunity was there, but I just had every excuse in the world that, I was too busy. I had too much washing to do. I, just couldn't find the time for something like this. And then finally one day my good friend said to me, what if you could contribute to the household? What if you could bring back, more of the fun stuff into your life and be able to do nice things for yourself and take away some of that financial burden from my husband. And I thought to myself, I've got, nothing to lose. I'm at home anyway. I'll give this 12 months and I'll see what happens. And it's turned out to be the best thing I've ever done. It's allowed me to, I've been a stay-at-home mum now for the past 6 years. And this is just really something I do in stolen moments around them. So, it might be, it's just small pockets of time, 15 minutes here, half an hour there when I can fit it in. I have a lot of time freedom now in my life. I get to do what I want when I want, pretty much, and I get to work with an amazing community of women. And now, my passion is just empowering other people to be able to do the same, that there are other ways to be able to earn a great income and be a mum at the same time. So really, I guess, have that career, but be able to put your kids first. So, and that's what was, really important to me, just being able to be there for my kids, but also feel like I was, it's also achieving something for myself on the side, if that makes sense. So I think, I always thought that just being a mum and cooking dinner and all of those things would be the most fulfilling thing in the whole world. But I think most of us mums realise that when we get that, it's awesome, but we do need something else as well. And this really allows, all the women that come into our business, it really allows them to, to shine and to grow and to really, be part of this beautiful community and help to raise one another up. So yeah, that's really what I love about it. And, I just so happy that I, really found my passion, and it's something that I'm able to help and share with other people now.
Thanks, Keryn. That's amazing. I love, it's been great getting to know you along this journey, and it's just fantastic that we can do this, like you said, in the stolen moments and work from home around our kids and really make up the rules as we go along. So
so much fun.
Really cool. Yeah, we're really lucky. I know that there are probably a few different types of people that are maybe watching tonight or watching the recording if it's been sent to you. Really there's 3 different types that come into this. The first one being someone that, like Keryn in the beginning, loved the product and the program and then just naturally started sharing it, and that really showed her how she could just get that little bit of extra money in her bank. And a lot of people do that. They just might share the product with 1 or 2, they get a little bit of money back on their own product, and that's enough for them, and that's totally fine. We really love to pride ourselves on that. We love you wherever you're at if you come into this, and and certainly get all those questions answered. So the next sort of person that might look at it is, we sort of call person B, that they might want to have a small goal that they want to tick off. So it could be things like perhaps paying the grocery bill, or again, like Keryn said, just being able to spoil ourselves a little bit. I think as mums, we always tend to put our kids first, and, they're the first ones to get the clothes, or they're the first ones to, whatever they need, they get all those things that they need. And here we are still spending our days in our active wear that we bought when, before we were pregnant type things. So, that's person B that really just has those small goals and ticks them off quite quickly from what we see very often. But that's absolutely fine. And then we really have that third person, that person C, that sees the opportunity here and really that potential to make some big changes. So Karlina mentioned before bringing her husband home from FIFO and just being able to have him home with a family. I know that I've been a FIFO wife as well, and being able to just bring their husband home so that they can be there every night to kiss the kids and read a story and eat dinner together, just all those little things is really just such a huge, huge thing to family life. We have so many amazing empowered women in our business that are really showing us the way of how we can just guide so many others and share and just it's just such an incredible community. So so that person really sees the opportunity and runs with it, and the sky's the limit, really. We don't have to tread on toes. We really don't advance in this business unless we're helping others, and there's unlimited positions for that pinnacle role as well. So, everyone gets equal opportunity, and it's a matter of just putting in the work and getting it done. So if anything resonates with anyone that has joined us tonight or has watched the recording, I wanted to say thank you for sticking with us this time. We do try and keep it short. We're very mindful of each other's time, and it is so precious. So please, thank you so much for joining us and for sticking with us for this 30 minutes. We're so grateful. If you have any questions, please come back to the person that shared this with you. I know that when I got my questions answered, I was, like I said, I was so skeptical. But once I spoke to my friend and got my questions answered, then it really was something that I thought, well, if I don't give it a go, what can life look like? So I guess that's the last thing I wanted to finish with, that if you don't look into this, if you decide that it's not for you, then if not this, then what is it that you could do, that you could work in around stolen moments with, around your kids and your family? What is it that you could do that give you unlimited earning potential? What is it that you could do that could potentially change the lives of thousands of people, or even, one person around you? And I think when we think about these things, it's really something that makes it, we realize just how small we are in a big pond, and just how easy it is to be able to make a difference in the world. So thank you so much for joining us and for your time, everybody. I loved hearing all of your stories, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jo.